Hello, this is N2EWS, and I'm making some reviews of some inexpensive Chinese handheld transceivers. I really enjoy playing with these, and right now I'm working on one about the Quansheng UV-K5 and its variants. In China, I believe it would be Shenzhen, not Quansheng, but we'll call it Quansheng. And I was doing a test of the spurious emissions, and it led me to want to talk about what spurious emissions are all about. I recorded a couple of the screenshots. I'll put them up on the screen in post-editing, but on 2 meters, the first harmonic was down about 48, 49 decibels, which is extremely low. I mean, you're talking about, 40 decibels would be, if it's a 5-watt transceiver, 40 decibels down would be 5 microwatts. So that's barely anything, but it's above that magical 16.02 dB line, just barely above it. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, you want to take these backs off and look at the FCC ID. If you look up that FCC ID, you'll find interesting they did a very involved testing so that these would pass the spurious emissions test. But what spurious emissions are we talking about? I mean, this one is in particular is Part 15. And Part 15 is really a big catch-all for spurious emissions. I mean, Part 15 applies to things like your television, your computer monitor, just about everything electronic that you own is controlled by Part 15. Part 15 basically is just saying, don't send out any spurious emissions that can interfere with something else. It's not specific about harmonics necessarily. Depends. And the only way to find out is to look up those FCC ID numbers and see how the thing was tested. Because sometimes it uses Part 15, sometimes Part 95, and who knows what else. And then you'll see the test results and basically get an idea. But let's look at this realistically. You've got your handheld transceiver and you're out camping. It's a 5-watt transceiver. Now, what are you concerned about? That 5 milliwatts even is going to bother somebody? Or the fact that, the fact that your 5-watt transceiver, will it actually be able to contact and talk to your buddy half a mile away, a mile away? That's really what you're concerned about. Now, if you've got a really dirty radio, I can see where that might concern you. But even when you're out camping, a really dirty radio is not going to bother anybody. So, what you do is up to you. But in a case where it's this close, unless an FCC spy van pulls up right next to your tent, I wouldn't be concerned about the signal, the spurious emission coming out of your Quansheng or Shenzhen UV-K5 or any of its variants. As I look at some of these handheld, we'll look at some of them that are very dirty and some of them that are very clean. But as far as I'm concerned, this radio is clean enough for me to use. You decide what's right for you. Hey, it's me again, N2EWS, and I thought I'd add a couple of points here. One is that one of the ways that I decide whether I'm going to use a dirty radio or not is what it does for me to me in my shack. In other words, if I press transmit and my USB device on my computer disconnects, that's a really dirty radio. Now I can add some ferrite beads to the USB line and that might cure it, in which case I might continue to use that radio. I don't know, it depends. And you have to concern yourself with things like, does your neighbor complain? If your neighbor complains, yeah, you want to take care of that one way or another. Either stop using that radio or help solve the interference problem that your radio is causing. I had, if it causes your PC speakers or your TV or your AM/FM shortwave radio to buzz when you press transmit it, yeah, it sounds like the dirtiness of that radio is going to cause some problems. So keep that in mind. That's the easy way to check to see if your radio is clean or dirty. And like I said, you can actually solve that problem with ferrite beads too. So again, it's up to you. You decide what risks you want to take and how much you want to adhere to FCC guidelines. Always look up that part ID if you really want to know the details. Otherwise, if it says FCC certified, that doesn't mean much unless you actually find out how it was certified and what it's certified for. Thanks again for watching. Bye.